Quick introduction for you. My name again, Rocky Walls. Oh, slow down, guys. Rocky Walls on Twitter. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Tumblr, and a bunch of other places. And you can stop by our table, Candidio, out there in the sponsor area. I don't have a cool accent, so unfortunately, like I have to spice things up in other ways. I wear exciting socks. You can come up and check out my socks today. I have a tea thing, a thing for tea. I really like different kinds of tea. We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is my wife and my two oldest boys. We love to travel. So this was us in Disney World. There's a couple of clips. There's my newest son, Nolan. I have to show this because he's still in the hospital. He was born September 28th, 3 months early. He's a trooper. It kind of tears me up to be here, but I know he's doing well at home. He's now 5 pounds, folks. Twice his weight when he was born. So he's doing fantastic. So as I mentioned, I'm going to scroll through some photos here just to give you an introduction a little bit to myself and why I want to come to you with a little bit of a different angle as maybe some of the other speakers. I don't work in tourism. I help people create videos, some of them for tourism. So I'm more of a person in your demographic and your target audience, and so I'd like to maybe think about that a little bit as we talk through. I loved Dan's presentation. Who loved Dan's presentation from San Francisco? Yes? That guy was awesome, right? I was there last December, took some pictures. Who was in Huntsville last year for SoMeT? Yeah, I was there. That was fantastic. I do this thing, by the way. I do like crazy face. I actually have a hashtag. You can look it up and see hundreds of pictures of me and the people that I influence with 2 thumbs up and a big, stupid smile. There's me, crazy face, with this guy in Seattle at the Pike Place. He didn't really get the concept, but it's okay. Memphis, some chicken and waffle. I'm one of those people that takes a lot of food pictures. Have you done this? You guys do this? The best chicken and waffle I've ever eaten down the road in Memphis. Fantastic. Best donut I've ever eaten. There you go. And the Donut Fryer in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So I'm just giving some Tennessee love today. Candidio is a platform that my company developed. And I want to say that because I want to give you a little bit of an insight as to why I can share some of the things I can share today. Candidio actually allows people to send us video so that professional editors can edit it for them. So at first you might think, oh, that sounds like a cool idea. Maybe I want to try that out. I'd love for you to. But then the second thought I hope you'd have is, oh my gosh, I wonder what kinds of things they receive via this platform, and what does it look like, and all of your wildest dreams and nightmares, I can confirm, are probably accurate. So a lot of this presentation comes from experiences that we've had from folks who are trying to create their own video. I'm not going to show you a lot of flashy videos today because you've seen a lot already, and I realize that a lot of you may not have big budgets to hire companies to produce $50,000 videos for you, or maybe even $10,000 videos for you. So I want to help understand ways that we can create video. This is, after all, Video You Can Do, the name of the session. I want to help you come up with ways that you can create video on a budget and very, very quickly and very easily. We do have a free resource. You can come and stop by our table or go to candidio.com and download it. It's a 10-page guide how to get started with producing great web videos for tourism. It was actually written by a DMO that we put on our website. It's free for you. Go check it out. So maybe why don't you do video? Well, we could do a show of hands, or I could go around and ask you, but I actually already know. There are 4 main reasons why people don't do video. We've done the research, and we know that it's time, money, creativity, and technology. Okay? We have some nods. Maybe throw up your hand if you think that one of those 4 things has prevented you from maybe doing video at some point. Yeah, so a lot of hands. So what my presentation, as I already explained, is broken into 4 sections, 4 categories. And I'm actually going to address each one of these one at a time. And then we're going to have some conversation and some Q&A about them. I'm going to share just a few quick tips for each one, and then I want you to bombard me with your questions. Now's the opportunity for you to ask me, as somebody who helps people create video content all day long, ask me what questions you have about what camera you should use, how can you get more video in less time with less money, all those kinds of things. I gotta remember to point it that way. The computer's actually way over there. and pie. I feel like if you show a pie chart, you should have to show a pie. So that's pie. That's my wife makes a delicious blueberry pie. So time. Let's start with time first. I feel like video is a really time-consuming endeavor. All right, we get some nods. And there has to be ways to help save time when producing videos. So just a few tips and then some Q&A. First of all, clean up your plate. That, by the way, is what the pie looked like after I was done with it. I talked with a communications professional who went from producing 12 videos with her small team in 1 year to producing over 100 videos the following year without increasing their headcount or investing in any additional equipment. And I said, well, her name's Lisa. I said, Lisa, how did you do that? What tip can I share with people when they ask me, how could I do that? How could I go from creating just a few videos or no videos to 100 in a year? And she said, the one thing that they did was they really cleaned up their plate. They looked at all of the things that they were doing. If you think about your Thanksgiving plate that's coming up, they evaluated, well, if I want to put video on my plate, what can I take off? What am I spending a lot of time creating that maybe video could be better at? If I'm writing a lot of articles, or if I'm spending X amount of time on this section of my newsletter, could I actually swap that out and do a quick video, be it Vine, Instagram video, YouTube video, quick man on the street? We're going to talk about all those different things. But the idea is to maybe take video and let it substitute for something else. Next, try something small, as I just mentioned. A lot of people think video needs to be big and elaborate and complicated, and it doesn't have to be. You can pull out your iPhone and ask somebody 2 or 3 questions and have a man-on-the-street style interview. That video can be on Instagram or on YouTube in a matter of moments, right? Do we know that this can happen? Yes? Yes? I haven't seen a lot of videos. I've seen you guys, even from last year, so many more tweets, so much more on Instagram. It's really, really awesome. I haven't seen a lot of videos, though, so I would encourage you, even just today, get out of here from this session or from tonight at the Honky Tonk or whatever, wherever we're going. Take some video and post it online. Practice it. Try it out. A version that I like, a quick take. Just grab 15 seconds, 30 seconds. Tell me what you love most about the conference. Boom. 30-second soundbite. Put it online. Those are ways that you can get video content out there for people who want to consume it without spending a lot of time. And then finally, focus and really do it right. This is one of the things that I share a lot, that people in the digital world, especially nowadays, we don't have to pay to develop film anymore, right? We have all this digital space that we just fill up. It feels unlimited, doesn't it? But what happens a lot of times is that we create all this video content or photos, and then we go back and we try and do something with them, and there's just too much. So I tell folks, start with a very small plan. Maybe just say, okay, I'm going to ask somebody 2 questions. I'm going to pay attention to what they say, and I'm going to go shoot 5 photos that go along with that and bring those together, and that's a video. That's it. I'm not going to do anything more complicated than that. I'm not going to let them talk for 20 or 30 minutes, and then guess what? I just created 5 hours worth of work for myself if I interview someone and let them talk for 30 minutes. So really focus and do it right. Here's an example that I love. Is anybody here from Explore, Georgia? Anybody? It's you! Did you shoot this? Thank you. It's so awesome. What is this? And it loops. And it loops. So this, Explore Georgia, everybody give Explore Georgia a hand. Awesome activity on Vine. I don't know if you're still using Vine as actively as you were, but fantastic. If you want to see what people can do with video in 6 seconds, go check out Explore Georgia on Vine. And this is the kind of stuff. How long did this take you to do? 6 seconds. That's right. It's not difficult math, folks. Vine is 6 seconds. Somebody saw goats on a roof. I don't know if this is a normal thing in Georgia or if it's special or what, but I love goats. I really do. I have a thing for goats. And when I saw this, I thought, this is incredible. And it could be, in all reality, the most unimpressive thing in Georgia, for all I know. But because I saw this and I like goats, I want to go and connect with it now. This is something that is going to be a common thread throughout the presentation. See your destination in a new light. And look at goats on a roof and be like, hey, that might not be a big deal to me because maybe that's the thing around here. But there might be somebody from Indiana, like me, who might look at that and think, the next time I go to Georgia, I'm going to see if I can drive by the place that has goats on the roof. Okay. Thank you. See? I love that. That's what we're doing. We're looking at our destination with new eyes, and we're getting quick little content out there for people to see. By the way, I should have said this at the beginning. I have a confession to make. I know you all probably think that I'm here for you. It's not true. In fact, I'm here for myself. Selfishly, I love what y'all do. This is seriously the best conference I ever speak at. I was on stage in Disney World in April, and I loved it, but you guys are awesome. You have the best stories. You have goats on roofs. Yeah, that's right. Hoot and holler. Because what you have is incredible. Every single one of you have these great stories that are just everywhere around you. Get those cameras out, capture that stuff, and share it. Because I'm here. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to connect with all of you all and find out where I'm going next year. So there you go. Explore Georgia. Well done. What questions do you have about how to maximize your time, how to get video content out there quickly? What questions can I answer? Remember, I told you we're going to take breaks occasionally. Gives me a chance to look at my watch.
What are some of the best tools? I've tried, for example, Candidio,
Mm-hmm.
but I've found that when I post it on Facebook, it looks like it doesn't look right. It looks like weird. I tried another one where you can do like vlogs, but it's in a half down, and they can help me. So what are some of the tools that you recommend to share?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. So the question is, what kinds of tools can we use to quickly create video content? And so I'll give you a few recommendations. I'll preface it by saying that every one of them obviously is going to be a little different, and they're going to have their advantages and disadvantages. Animoto is good for kind of creating content, but then you're right, you have to then take it and put it somewhere and make sure that it matches and things like that. I like, for really fast stuff, I love Vine. I love what Explore Georgia did with Vine. It just allows me to take quick 6 seconds. Instagram videos a little bit longer, but allows you to do similar things where you can just grab a few clips maybe that you've already recorded. I did a hyperlapse of lunch. Did anybody see that? Where I just stood there as you were all getting ready to pour out the door. I used the hyperlapse app, which is made by Instagram. It allows you to take video and then condense it to a very, very short time span. So if you've got something that happens over a longer period of time and you want to tighten it up and make a really cool, fun, like fast motion video, you can do that with hyperlapse. Then I took the hyperlapse video and I put it on Vine so I could share it on Twitter. So it's kind of learning how they all play well together. Another one that I like is what is it called? Flipagram is cool because you can take what you're essentially doing is making a quick photo montage. So it becomes a little video. You just actually load up 5 or 6 photos. And then it goes on you can put it on Instagram, but then you can, of course, share it other places too, because it saves to your camera roll. So, and then I'm obviously just a fan of recording, like I said, those one takes. Just get one little quick video clip, put it straight on YouTube or straight on Facebook, and the idea is not to worry too much about how it looks. So, is that helpful? I gave you just a bunch there. What other questions? Anything else? Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 That's a great question. So let me just repeat that for the recording. That the question is, there's all these different platforms, there's all these different channels where we can put video: Vine, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Should we be creating content for all of them? Should we be sharing the same content on all of them? And I love that you said maybe it's a question for everybody else. Let's make this as much of a conversation, please. If you want to answer a question from your experience, please raise your hand and do that. I want this to be very interactive. So I would caution you to not just put the same content everywhere. And anybody know the reason for that? Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, there are definitely very different audiences with each of these channels, and they kind of expect different things. In fact, Instagram video was very, very slowly adopted and still isn't really all that popular. If you're like me, like I scroll through and I very rarely click the videos on Instagram. That's one of the things I love about Instagram is they're beautiful photos, or at least photos that have been made a little bit more beautiful by filters. I don't like the video component as much. So definitely think about that. Think about what are people looking for on here. And so I would encourage most destinations probably not to fill their Instagram with videos, because most of the people on Instagram, I think, like the photos the most. So that's kind of the first answer that I have. The second answer is I would say that obviously you have to base how much content you're creating and how many places you're putting it in on obviously your team and your time. Again, time is the limiting agent. We all have a limited amount of that, and you may not be able to create content for every channel. I would do 1 or 2 really well as opposed to doing all of them really poorly. So, does anybody have experience from that you can share? Maybe what you've done differently on Vine versus Instagram or Vine versus YouTube? Go ahead. They do. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely. So, my friend Jay Bear, did anybody hear Jay speak at SoMeT last year? He just did a Jay Today. He does a little daily video series. Go check it out. It's all about that exact topic right there, about how Facebook has been, he called it stealing, but Facebook has been claiming up a tremendous amount of video viewership. In fact, there are some people who believe that more videos will be viewed on Facebook, even by the end of the year, I believe, than on YouTube. It's just amazing. I mean, you could see that from like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge videos. I mean, just imagine the amount of video content. So the autoplay as you scroll through your feed is a big, big part of that. And then you're also right, of course, that they favor, to some degree, their own content there. Let me move on, and we may have time at the end. I do have 3 other categories I want to get through. So let me move on and then hold those questions if we have time at the end. So the next section is all about the money. The first thing I tell people when it comes to cost of producing video is to avoid what I call shiny object syndrome. And I hear so many people, when they talk about getting into video, the first thing they talk about, the first thing they think about is making an investment in some kind of equipment. And I always back people up off of that. And I say, well, let's think first about what? First about the purpose of the video, right? And how you're going to use video to connect to your audience, right? And then base what you need to do and what you need to buy, if anything, on that, right? So I encourage folks, don't think that you need to go out and buy a DSLR camera or anything fancy to produce great video. If you have access to that, you want to buy that, groovy. But if you don't, then you can still produce awesome videos. Start with the purpose and the reason that you're trying to create video to connect. The next thing here, this is my oldest, Caspian, doing yoga in the middle of breakdancing class because he told me he was trying to achieve balance, whatever that means. So I have that for balance expectations. Some of my pictures are really random, sorry. Balance expectations. I have 3 things for you to consider here when you're thinking about the expectations for your video. And also, by the way, when you're trying to get internal adoption or internal support within your organization, helping people to understand how to balance their expectations of video. And those are speed, audience, and shelf life. Speed as in, how long do you have in order to produce this video? Do you need something done in a week? Well, then you need to have completely different expectations of how that video should turn out, how much money you should spend, et cetera, than if you have 6 months to produce it. The audience. Who's the audience for this video? Is this a video for an event that's going to be hosted and invite 200, 300 people, or is this a video that's going to go out to folks that, is it a sales video that's going to go out to people who may be coming to your destination to host their next event? Those are very, very different audiences, and you should manage your expectations accordingly. You don't necessarily need to invest as much money in a video that's going to be seen by 30 people as you would a video that's going to be seen by 300 or 30 people who might be bringing a lot of dollars to your destination. So manage your expectations there. Also, shelf life. How long is this video going to be relevant? Think about that. Again, if it's an event video and the event's over in 6 weeks and you're never going to need that video again, manage your expectations accordingly. Don't spend a fortune on it. If it's a video that's going to go right on your destination's homepage and it's going to be there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, spend a little more money on it. Finally, keep it simple, Spielberg. And I love to do pilots of things. I love to tell people, before you go in to your destination, before you go to your boss, before you tell yourself, you psych yourself up, I'm going to do video. I'm going to do a video series. I'm going to do a daily video. Before you start convincing yourself that you're going to do that, just do a video. Just go and do what Explore Georgia did. Just go and do what I did and take a hyperlapse or do a Vine or do a YouTube video where you interview people and ask them about their restaurant or their attraction like Branson did.
I have been in the restaurant business since I was 15 years old. My best girlfriend's mom and dad bought a resort in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and I got to be the bus girl and the dishwasher. So that was the start of my career. I love the business. I love people. I love the people around me. I enjoy the opportunity to meet people from all over the world, which we can do now. And I always tease people when they ask how we turn them over. I tell them I've got a snow shovel from Minnesota, because that's where we came from. And I turn those pancakes over with a snow shovel from Minnesota. And I think they really believe me. They're about the size of a medium pizza. And we've got different flavors. We've got fresh blueberries, fresh strawberries, pecans, chocolate chip, buttermilk, all kinds of pancakes. And our omelets are great. We have several different kinds of omelets. We have 4-egg omelets. We don't spare anything. Our breakfast burritos are awesome. I think for lunch we have a different special pretty much every day. And that is a half-pound burger, half-pound chicken breast, things like this, and then a breakfast dinner lunch special.
I'm hearing some
we got
groans.
a good lunch too.
So there you go. I mean, Branson, do we have Branson in here? Where are my Branson people? Nobody? All right, that's okay. Branson did 3 of these. They just went out, they shot an interview with their, I mean, how much money do you think they spent on that? Very little, right? They actually used our Candidio platform, and they spent like $300 or $400 to get all 3 of the videos edited. They shot them themselves with their iPhone. Really fantastic way to just get out there and try it out and see what you can do. They shot the interviews with their iPhone, they listened to what the person said, and they went and shot some B-roll, put it all together, made an awesome little series. Very, very simple. Something that they can put on their YouTube channel and give people an idea of what they can do when they come to Branson. Q&A about how to save some money on video. Has anybody used Fiverr, Fiverr, for any video editing? Nobody? I've used Fiverr. I'll answer the question. I've used Fiverr for a lot of things. I haven't used them for any kind of elaborate video editing because that tends to be something that takes more time than somebody's willing to do. Fiverr, if you don't know, is a website basically where you give somebody $5 and they do something for you that you don't want to do. And they have all kinds of talents and things and things that are not talents at all. But it's hit or miss too. You know, sometimes you can get somebody to do something really, really cool for $5, or you can upgrade obviously and spend a little more. But it's hit or miss. You know, you can try it out, or you can go to Candidio where you know that there are professional video editors who are reputable and can do it for a little more than $5, but you know what you're going to get every time. Good question though. Get shorter stuff done from Fiverr. I've used Fiverr for like little graphic design things, stuff like that. It can be, absolutely. That's a question that, the question was, you know, is it maybe more prudent to learn to do the editing yourself? And I would say it could be. The kind of analogy that I share with people is that, well, we can also grow our own food and make all of our own meals, but some of us like to go to restaurants and some of us like to buy our food at the grocery store too. So it's just based on how much time you have and what you consider to be a priority. If your role in the company is video, then yeah, I'd say learn how to edit video, and that's probably pretty important to make your job relevant. If your job in the company is, or in the organization, sorry, is much broader than that, then maybe editing video is something that you have to be careful with. Mhm. It is, absolutely. Absolutely. It is something to consider. Absolutely. So it's just what you have time for. Again, it goes back to the balance of time and money. That's really, and that's a good that's a good actually recap. We just talked about time and money, and that's where you have to consider what's most important to you. Because if it takes you an hour to edit the video, you know, what's your time worth? Is your time worth $100 or $5 or $50 or whatever it is? Or is it better just to spend that money and then get your hour back? And that's a decision that obviously only you can make. Let me keep moving. Save your questions, because I want to get through the next sections. Technology, I'm going to breeze through this one pretty quickly because there are, I mean, we could talk about this for 3 hours, but there are a few different kind of setups or scenarios that I want to just kind of give you an idea of things that people do, and then you can ask me your questions. The first is, actually, this is my friend Lisa. She is a real person. This is a sketch. You remember I talked about her earlier. Her organization did 100 videos one year. And this is how they do it. They literally have a camera. I don't even think it's a DSLR. And they have a backpack, and they just walk around, and they do it very journalistically. They just pop that baby out of the backpack, put it on a tripod, and shoot quick videos. Most of them are 90 seconds in length, and they're one take every time. Sometimes they incorporate B-roll, but that's very rare in and of itself. So very, very quick, very simple. Camera, tripod, external microphone, boom, done. The next one is kind of creating a little bit of an in-house studio. This is something that folks can do. I've seen several people do this where they actually have a place where they can record all of their, what we could call A-roll. And does anybody know what B-roll is? B-roll is everything that's not like the interview, and we don't usually say A-roll for kind of maybe obvious reasons, because it kind of sounds like something else. But that's what you could record all of your interviews and things like that in one place that you have set up. Maybe you set up a couple of lights, things like that, and then you go out and get all of your B-roll. Think of this as being like almost like a little news station for your organization, for your destination, where you could do some interviews and then go out and get all that good B-roll. And then also, obviously, there are outside vendors that you can work with to produce professional, high-quality video. They come out and they bring their big, expensive cameras and their lights and things like that. Those are three very, very different ways of setting up your technology to produce video on a regular basis. I'm interested to know who in here falls in any of these categories, and maybe that could be a discussion that we have kind of amongst ourselves and determine which videos are best handled by which of these different options. And then also, obviously, I'm happy to answer any of your questions you have about technology. Maybe you've been itching to buy a new device or a new camera or something like that, and you want an opinion on it. I'm happy to see if I can help there. So, first an example. This was a video by the Children's Museum in Indianapolis, where I'm from. They literally just did the entire thing with photos. This could have been done with Flipagram, although I don't know if you can put music like this in Flipagram. But they put it on YouTube. They've had 10,000, 20,000 some views on it, just because it says Mr. Potato Head in it. That's about it. The exhibit's gone now, but it's a fun video. I just wanted to give you an example of something that you could do with just a photo camera or your iPhone, just taking pictures. Simple enough, right? Easy stuff. So there we go. Then Q&A. What questions can I answer for you about equipment? Way back there in the back. Yeah, there are. In fact, if you come over to the table, I meant to bring it up and I forgot it. If you come over to the table sometime during a break, I'll show you what I carry with me, because I own all this equipment here, and I don't ever touch any of it. It's all too confusing and too expensive, and I use my iPhone for everything that I do. So I use an external lapel mic, oftentimes for interviews. It's made by Rode, R-O-D-E. It's like $80, and it plugs right into the iPhone, and then I can put that on somebody that I'm going to interview. It gives me nice, clear, crisp audio straight from them. I also use something called an Allo clip, which gives me a few different lens options. I can do a much wider shot. I can do macro shots and things like that. That's a fun little accessory. There are external lights that you can buy for an iPhone. Those are, maybe a little overkill at times if you're just using an iPhone, but yeah, I would definitely encourage you, if you're going to do any interviewing with your phone, to think about some kind of external audio help there, because the iPhone can be not great when it comes to that. So, does that help? Is that? Sure. Go ahead. Yeah. Yay! I'm so excited. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear your question. Super. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can. The question is, she's got a GoPro sitting in a shelf, getting dusty, and can she use it for video? I would encourage you to kind of wrap your brain around shooting video with your phone first. GoPros are great, and they can do a lot of really cool things. But there are a lot of things that about a GoPro that are a little more intimidating, and the learning curve is a little higher. You probably noticed that there's not like a screen on the back where you can actually just see what you're recording while you're recording it. That's a little challenging, a little frustrating. I've used a GoPro before, and what I was told was, hey, it's no big deal. You just install the app and then you watch it on your phone. And I'm a video guy. I mean, that's what I do, and I couldn't figure it out. I did eventually. But you have to have a connection. I was in a kitchen. I was actually recording video. We put the GoPro over the top of the prep area while the chef put all the things on the food. It turned out really beautifully, but it was a pain because there was no connectivity in the kitchen, so we couldn't make them talk to each other. So a real challenge there. I would encourage you to get comfortable with your phone first, but then definitely try out the GoPro. Set it up, record some things, see what you think. The worst thing that happens is you record it and then you don't use it. But I would definitely get more comfortable with your phone first. Get more comfortable with the idea of what you need to produce a video. Again, going back to not kind of having shiny object syndrome. If you can produce a video with your phone in 5-10 minutes, once you get that down, then incorporate something to kick it up a notch. Does that help? Mm-hmm. Goodness, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you've got anybody that is comfortable with a GoPro, that would be a fantastic way to get them to just go out and say, okay, I'm working on this video about these trails or whatever. I got photos, I got some video that I shot. I need something from a GoPro. I'm going to solicit the people that love your destination to just create that. It's a what attraction? Crayola attraction. I love it. I want to go. See, this is why I'm here. Remember I told you, that's the only reason I'm here. Is so now I know I need to talk to you afterwards. So I can, let's please talk. Probably not. No, that would be frowned upon by that child's parents more than likely. Yeah, but you can do that. We did that with the Children's Museum in Indianapolis as one of our clients. They have a haunted house of all things every year that they use to generate a lot of income. It's a huge fundraiser, and we strapped a GoPro camera to several kids and parents and got them walking through the haunted house, obviously with their permission. We didn't just plop it on their head. But yeah, that's totally doable. Yeah, absolutely. So, good question. Oh, any others about equipment? I feel like equipment can be a lot. We can talk about this a lot, so. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. me see if I can summarize your question, because there was a lot in there. From a photography background, you really love and passionate about creating video, creating photos, obviously, and creating video that looks really, really good. And your perception maybe is that a lot of people don't necessarily care about that when they're watching it, because our attention spans are short. Are there markets that do care, and how can you cater to them? Is that kind of the question? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't have any insight into which international market would necessarily care for a video of higher quality more than another. What I would encourage you is that everybody can tell the difference when a video is done really, really well and when it's not. And if you have that ability and you have the time and the budget and those things, I would always tell somebody, create an exceptional video if you can, if you've got the time, if you've got the money. Don't look at it like everybody wants to blame attention spans. By the way, people, that's bogus, okay? It's completely bogus, and I can tell you it's proven. I was in a conference last year, and Coca-Cola, if you haven't checked them out, they do some amazing work with their website called The Journey. And they actually had studied on their site the videos that performed the best. The videos that had the best audience retention rate were videos under, guess what number? Under, what's the magic number? Everybody tells us. Under 2 minutes, right? Like, oh God, don't make a video longer than 2 minutes. Nobody will ever watch it. But here was the thing. High retention on videos under 2 minutes and over 6 minutes. The highest retention rates were either under 2 minutes or over 6 minutes. The thing about attention span, folks, that you got to remember is that it's all based on people's vested interest. So if you're talking about something that people care about, if you're talking about something, if your video is sharing something with them that's relevant, something that they're interested in, then their attention span is likely going to be much, much longer than you might originally imagine or anticipate. You guys, you have to remember, most of you are not selling shoes or widgets, okay? You're selling experiences. You're selling something that people care about and they're passionate about. I'm going to go to where you are and make memories with my children that will last a lifetime. I will give you more than 2 minutes of my time to show me that on video. So remember that. And I think be careful that you know what I mean? Be careful that you don't err too far on the side of caution with just creating something or feeling like you have to neglect some of that creativity and some of that, perfectionism, if that's a word, for attention spans. No, make awesome video. Make awesome video and put it out there for people to see. I will tell you, though, that if you look at, oh gosh, here I'm going to show how ignorant I am, because you originally asked questions about international. I will tell you that if you go back and look at, some of the videos that were produced by some local groups, actually, the summit that was held in Europe, where was that this year? Do you guys know? So the SoMeT summit in Amsterdam. There was a group there that they worked with that did some video that was fantastic. It was gorgeous. We watched, and I showed Zeph. We watched a really, really beautiful video. A lot of European and Scandinavian markets are doing some really, really beautiful stuff with video. And I feel like maybe that could be a place where you might get some inspiration or get some audience potentially, for sure. So generic, I know, but one more question about equipment. No. Pick the best one. Pick your favorite. This sounds so hypothetical. Okay, go ahead, keep going. Yeah. Sounds like a sweet deal to me. Sure. That sounds like a pretty sweet gig to me. No, $250 for a local TV personality to shoot a cool video. I mean, are they good? The question I would have is, understand this too. The end result isn't a video. The end result is what people do after they watch the video. So that would be my only question to you is, are you getting good results from these videos? What when you're posting them, are people watching them? Do they enjoy them? Do they move people to do what you want them to do after they watch them? Stuff like that. Sure. Sometimes it's difficult to measure because you haven't thought about what you want people to do afterwards. So do that. Every time you do one of those videos, if you're going to make, even if it's a $250 investment, think about, okay, when they're done watching this, what do I want them to do? And then figure out ways to kind of gauge that and measure that. Okay? Like, give me an example. What do you want somebody to do after they watch one of those videos? Okay, go and visit the particular attraction. Do you link to that attraction where the video lives? Mm-hmm. Sure. Good. Well, think about that, though. Think about ways that you can gauge and figure out. And I understand that you can't necessarily always know how many feet did you get in the door because of this video, but there's certainly ways that you can take steps toward measuring that engagement. So, okay. Let's move on, and then we may have time at the very end. So, creativity, I just have a few quick ones here for you. The first one, this is actually a friend of mine, George Wright, who came up with the what Entrepreneur magazine, I believe, called one of the top 11 marketing ideas in history, I believe. It's called Will It Blend, and it was a YouTube video series. Have you ever seen this? Will It Blend? I'm going to throw everything in a blender and see. So he was tasked with the job of taking what was at the time commercial blenders and selling them to consumers. And he came up with this idea. The way he came up with it, and this is why I have over here, find stories, don't create them. Because a lot of people might think that guy and his creative marketing team sat in a room and ate cheese sandwiches and drank water for 7 days straight to come up with this idea, this brilliant idea for a marketing video. And that's not what happened at all. He was walking down the hallway and he heard a horrible, horrible sound, and he walked into a room and they were grinding wood blocks in these blenders. And he's like, what on earth are you doing? And these were like the engineers. And they said, well, when we make a modification on the blender, we put it to the test and we find out how much abuse can we put these things through before they explode or start smoking or whatever. And he said, this is a story. I've found a story. I didn't need to create one. I need to make it up. You can go out there and find these stories. So the YouTube series Will It Blend was born out of something that was just naturally happening. Now, granted, they started throwing a lot cooler stuff in there than just wood blocks. Live, I watched him blend a tape measure at this event. It was really cool. So find the stories. Get out there. Be a journalist. Consume media. This is me. Hold on. I'll get to that in a second. Consume media. My friend Lisa that I mentioned before, she's full of great ideas. She was listening to Kelly Clarkson, I think, is the song Mr. Know-It-All in her car one day. And she got the idea to create a video series called Mr. Smarty Pants, which was somebody that could just answer questions that the audience might have. They created that video series because she was inspired by the media that she was consuming. Also, anybody know what OPC stands for? Other people's content. Okay, so other people's content. Little story here. I was in Huntsville, Alabama last year for this conference, and I'm walking outside in the mall. It was very gorgeous. It was nice there. And there's this tea stand. I already told you I really, really like tea. There's this tea stand in the middle of the outdoor mall, and this nice young lady gives me, she tells me that if I buy this mason jar, she'll fill it up with tea. This, for me, feels totally not legitimate at all, but I'm going with it. She says, if you buy this mason jar, you can come back tomorrow and I'll give you a refill. And I'm like, okay. So this, guess what, is me the next day. There's no tea stand in the mall. I have a mason jar, and I want my refill because this tea, by the way, was, it was like crack, okay? I'm drinking this tea, and I'm thinking, all that I want to do here is, you may remember last year if you were here or there, I was fiending hard. So they find this, and then lo and behold, a week later, they share this on their Instagram. Don't let this happen to you. I inadvertently become the poster child for this tea company. Is there anybody, where's Leslie? Is Leslie here from Huntsville? Leslie? Oh, you're in trouble, Leslie. You didn't come to my session. Shame on you. Leslie brought me to packs to Rocketown here of the tea. This is like an example of getting out there and connecting with people. Dan talked about this a lot. Fantastic, fantastic way to leverage people who already love what you do and use them to boost engagement and this isn't even a video, but it could be. It could have been a video. They were photos instead. So use other people's content. Make them your poster child. And then finally, come up with like catchy titles and fun ways to repeat things so that you're not having to come up with something from scratch every time. Okay, so I like this one. 3 Things That Stick is a fun little video series that I've seen where they just do one long take, a 90-second interview with somebody who shares 3 things that they want you to know, and they put them on Post-its, and then they stick them to something. So like maybe if this is my presentation, the 3 things that I want you to take away are 1, 2, 3, and I'll stick them to the board. And what it does is it makes the presentation, it makes the video a little bit more engaging, a little bit more kind of exciting, and it borrows from something that we all know and love. I mean, Post-its, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Post-its? It's like reminder, simplicity, easy. They're borrowing from something that people already know and understand, and the video just kind of plays off of that. So using props, coming up with things that you can do over and over and over again will help your creativity. So I know if I'm going to make a 3 Things That Stick video, I know how I'm going to do that every time. I don't have to come up with a new idea for a video. Okay? This is a video I want to show you, just kind of close. I told you all I'm a big Disney fan. I want you to think about, as we're watching this, what's the story here? What is Disney trying to sell?
To make change and to sort of change things out as we need. And this year, we've added glow with the show, our light-up Mickey hats. They're a cool little toy that you can buy at our shops and wear around, and they change color and do all kinds of crazy things with LEDs in the ears. And when you come to see World of Color, they become part of the show and they bring you into the show. These glow with the show hats are filled with technology. Their base control infrastructure is infrared, just like your TV remote. The viewing area is divided into zones, about 40 zones. And each of those zones is able to be sent individual commands to the hats within that zone. The hats themselves have a unique serial number, and so with the combination of the unique serial number and the zones, we can create geographic spatial effects where we wipe colors from right to left or from the front of the audience to the back or the middle to out. We can even control one ear differently than the other ear. We've just begun to scratch the surface of the technology here at World of Color with the hats. The hats have the ability to interact between each other. They also have other places that you can take them and things can happen. As you wander around the new Cars land, there are a couple of places the hats will react to you being in that space. Go have a meal at Flo's and see what you think about the hats there. World of Color was always designed to be an immersive experience. It was designed to tug at your heartstrings. It was designed to make you feel happy and sad and to be a little scared sometimes. And the more we draw you as a guest into the show and make you a part of it, the more we can tug and play with your emotions, which ultimately is what entertainment's about. It's about taking you on an adventure, taking you somewhere that you haven't been before and making you feel things that you maybe haven't felt before or for a long time.
What's Disney selling? Emotion, that's right. It's not really hats, is it? Don't get me wrong, they're selling a crap load of hats. But ultimately they're selling emotion, aren't they? They're selling a connection to people. I tell people this all the time. If you remember one thing, maybe it's this. If you kind of draw 2 circles in your mind, and in one side you've got, what is it that I want to say? Get people to come to my destination. Get people to buy a ticket to this. Get people to whatever. What is it that you want to say? And then over here on the other side, this other circle, and they can intersect in the middle just a little bit every now and then, is why does anybody care? Right? Why do they care? Do they feel inspired? Do they have fun with their family? Do they make a memory? What is it about the stories that you're telling that connects with people, really connects with people? And think about that. I encourage you to think about, what he said in the video. You're inspiring people. You're giving people a place to go and make memories with their family. get out there and find those ways to connect with them. I'm getting pulled into maybe the last 2 minutes here, so I just want to show you guys real quick, again, remind you, come and talk to us. I've got lots of time. You can ask me more questions. I'm back in the, you probably didn't know I was hanging out there in the sponsorship area. I'll be going to the dinner thing. I think I'm invited to that, right? Like, I'm a legit speaker. Not the dinner, the drinks. Do I get some drink tickets I can give to some people? Sweet. See, you put him on the spot in front of the audience and he has to say that. So come and talk to me. Visit, we have the Candidio app. app.candidio.com is what that should say. And if you go there, you can create an account. Listen to me, folks. I own this company, okay? I promise you, I am not trying to mooch money off of you. I genuinely love what you all do. If you go and try out our little app, I promise you, I will get you a fun video or 2 or 3 or 4 because we love working with you all, okay? I want to help you create video. If that means giving you an editor for an hour, Zeph would love to edit your videos. Zeph, wouldn't you love to edit a video about a destination or something like that every now and then? Yes, please send him. Because y'all are interesting, okay, and you have cool stories to tell. Go in there, sign up for it. I will personally make sure that you get something cool out of it. Come and talk to us if you have any questions about that, and we would love to talk with you, love to work with you. Any other questions, I'll have to take those back there because William's going to get the hook. He said he was going to get the hook here in a minute if I don't shut up. So thank you very much, folks.